can we just make sure all the cameras are good? Streaming wise.
Will you guys come and look at them together?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if you're all set, David will kick us off, followed by Dave, and then Ollie with that question.
Okay, thanks. Thank you all for coming. It's great to see you all here. I just wanted to start by just running through the process so everyone understands the comprehensiveness of the process that we've undertaken. 5 people were chosen to undertake the selection job for the new head coach of the All Blacks, and they were Kevin Mialamu and myself, who are both on the board. John Trigger, who's a world-renowned high-performance expert. Dane Coles is very familiar with recent playing environments, and Steve Lancaster, the interim chief executive of New Zealand Rugby. We undertook a really comprehensive program. First was to visit the candidates in their own environment, and so two members of that 5-member panel travelled up to Japan and spent a full day with Dave and evening and observing him in his environment and talking to a range of people around it. We did the usual psych test that's expected, and then we took references, and we took references from five referees, and they weren't necessarily the referees that were recommended by the coaches. We really wanted to understand, hear from people who had been coached by the candidates, and also understood the environment that they created and the way they set teams up and environments up for long-term success. And we dug pretty deep in all of that. And then finally, we had a 3 to 4 hour interview with candidates, and that was over the last couple of days. And at the end of that exhaustive process, there was a board meeting this morning of the New Zealand Rugby board, and there was unanimous endorsement of Dave Rennie as the next head coach of the All Blacks, which we're absolutely delighted with. And before I finish, I just want to make a brief comment. Most people will be aware that Jamie Joseph was in the process and was indeed the other candidate right down to the wire. I talked to Jamie this morning and let him know that he was not going to be appointed as the head coach. He took that news very graciously and had very positive comments to say about Dave as a great appointment for us. He is an excellent coach and someone who's doing great work in New Zealand Rugby, and we're looking forward to, we hope, having him in and around the New Zealand Rugby environment at all sorts of levels for a long time to come. A wonderful man and a great coach. I just do want to pay tribute to him. Those are my opening remarks, and I'll now turn over to Dave.
Kia ora koutou. Actually, I'll just add to what David said there. Jake messaged me immediately after he found out this morning, which shows the class of the man, just congratulating me. And I was hoping his interview was yesterday morning. Mine was yesterday afternoon, so we could have a beer last night just to catch up. But no, so I really appreciate his message. Look, I'm extremely proud and honoured, as I've mentioned this morning. I'm well aware of the expectations and responsibility of the role I'm going to be in, but I'm really excited by it. I first told my family, I've got 3 sons, all based in Palmy, although one of them flew to Japan to see me on Sunday and I left Monday. And my wife's over in Japan as well, and so I did the old group chat and spoke to them all at the same time, so that was pretty special. There's a lot of work to be done. Obviously I'm based in Japan, but I've done this a lot of times before. I've signed contracts a long way out, and I know that we can maximise the next few months by getting people over to see me and me visiting here in bye weeks and so on. So confident that we'll hit the ground running come July.
Dave, you've coached all around New Zealand, you've coached internationally. What does it mean to you to land this gig, knowing the road that's ahead ahead and I suppose the path you've taken to get here. To be here today, what does this mean to you?
Yeah, it's pretty special. It's not an easy job to get a hold of. There's so many good coaches in New Zealand throughout time, and I ended up heading overseas to gain more experience, and I think that's been really good for me. And I guess timing's everything. I was planning to come home after 9 years being away, so I wanted to spend a little bit more time with kids and grandkids, and so to be based back in New Zealand is awesome, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
How tricky is the balance going to be between your commitments up in Japan and obviously keeping an eye on Super Rugby and players down here and what's happening in the lead up to that first All Blacks test?
Yeah, look, whether I was coming back for this role or not, I'd watch every game of Super Rugby. Watch a lot of stuff happening up in the UK. Obviously, we've got a competition that we play in, so I watch a fair bit of footy. So I'm not concerned around having an understanding of where players are at. But I'll watch it closely. We'll use a little bit of analysis as well, and I'll spend a bit of time down here in bye weeks. We'll get support staff and that up so we can get a lot of planning done around our game model, and then get a handful of things in place to hopefully influence. Players, by the time they come, they're ready to go. I guess one advantage is, players are going to have to earn the right to wear the jersey. I've sort of got no loyalties. I don't come from a team where I've had a lot of these guys previously, and I think that's really exciting. We'll select based on form.
Dave, congratulations, first of all. Is this your dream job?
Oh, absolutely. I think when you're a kid, you dream of being an All Black. You probably don't dream of being the All Black coach, but I wasn't good enough for that, so maybe the next best thing. But it's a real honour. I'm a proud Kiwi, and like I say, I've spent a fair bit of time away from here and wrapped to come home.
When you left 9 or 10 years ago, did you think you'd ever be back in this position?
I don't know. I probably hoped. It's hard to plan that sort of stuff, and one thing led to another. I ended up in Australia, which I absolutely loved. Got to work with a lot of great people there, and my last 3 years I've been in Japan, which has been awesome. And so, I think I'm a lot better coach than I was 9 years ago when I left.
The Aussie experience didn't end well, for a matter of fact, a number of factors. What did the Australian experience? What does that mean to you?
Look, I got no regrets. Like I said, I've got a lot of strong relationships there. I learnt a lot from coaching at that level, and it wasn't an ideal end, and I obviously didn't get the chance to go to a World Cup, but I felt more for probably about 13 or 14 players who would have gone to a World Cup with me who didn't get to go either, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to go to one next year.
How surprised were you by the thorough process to get this job, given New Zealand Rugby knows a lot about you and a lot about your coaching?
I think it was essential. I was keen for them to come to Japan because I've been away for a long time, and I think it's a chance to come in and see your environment, warts and all. And my thinking would be that if this wasn't what they were looking for, then they'd obviously move on to someone else. So I thought the process was excellent. We had 3.5 hours yesterday with a presentation and questions, and I planned to go out to dinner at 6 o'clock, and I didn't realise it was 5:30 when we got out of the meeting. So it was good. It was really thorough, but I thought the process has been excellent.
You'll be bringing your own group of assistants in?
Yeah, we'll work through that. I've got a strength of surrounding myself with quality people and people who can make a difference, and so I'm keen to bring some people in. But it's when a head coach leaves, it affects a lot of people, and what I want to do is be able to sit down and talk to some of the affected people and then make some decisions over the next week or two.
David, can you offer us some insights into exactly what set Dave apart and ultimately got him the job over Jamie?
I don't really want to go into sort of scorecards with people, but and Dave's touched on it a bit already. His international experience of tier one companies, coached in Europe, in Glasgow, coached tier one international team in Australia, coached in Japan, coached Wellington, Manawatu, Chiefs in New Zealand. So a lot of experience, and very clear. Was able to deliver to us a very clear understanding of how and systematic way in which he would build culture or build on the culture, and at the same time a very systematic and analytical way of talking about what it takes to win rugby matches in the modern era, and how that can gel and does gel with who we are as a people here in New Zealand.
Dave, how long have you wanted this job, and how
Long I've wanted it, but I think I'm ready for it. I've coached across the world. I've actually worked with some fantastic people, and I've learnt a lot. So I'm really excited to come back home and do the Jersey justice.
Dave, was there any hesitation at all in this job? It's pretty tough,
No. I'm well aware of the expectations and the scrutiny that goes with this role, I'm really excited by it.
Dave, you mentioned referees, CV referees,
Yep.
referees, not referees. How much were players consulted?
Yeah, a number of players that had played
Current and former?
Yes, current and former who played under Dave were on the list.
Dave, congratulations. You mentioned in the release that you know the style you want to play. Can you explain both that a bit more, but also your renowned culture that you want to instill within the All Blacks?
I think from a culture point of view, I want to dig down into the legacy. I think what I've done well in other parts of the world is I've done a lot of research and I've spoken to a lot of people and to get a bit of clarity around the direction we need to head in there, and so there's some fantastic people I can talk to and grow my understanding around that. Like I said, I'm really clear on the type of game that we want to play, and the detail within that, the type of athlete we need, and how we're going to make shifts. Probably not going to go into massive detail around what that is, or all the changes we want to make, because I don't want to throw anyone in the previous regime under the bus. But I can assure you that I've watched a lot of footy already. I've got some firm ideas around the shifts we can make that'll make us better, and looking forward to ripping in. We obviously won't have access to players at the moment anyway, so there's going to be a big focus around planning and detail with the group once we've sorted that out.
Through all your recent experiences and through your adversity, what are maybe a couple of lessons that you can take out of that coming into this role?
I've been involved in this for a long time. I started coaching when the game was amateur, which is a long time ago, obviously. I think, I started at club footy and I made a lot of mistakes off camp, and I'd encourage others to do. It's been a lot about people for me. I'm just really passionate about the game, and it's given me and my family an opportunity to travel and meet a lot of good people, and it's probably shaped me as a person. So I'll take all that into the All Blacks.
You mentioned culture before. Do you think this All Black team needs a reset on that culture and All Blacks legacy?
I'm not sure if reset's the right word. I just think we've got to focus on it, and it's a key part of understanding who we represent and how we want to be perceived. And so I can assure you that we'll be really clear on that, and that'll be driven within.
You've worked closely with Andy. What's he said about the All Blacks and how you think we can get better?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to divulge what conversation we've had. He's a proud All Black. He's over in obviously Kobe at the moment, and he's getting his body right, and he's playing good footy for us, and I know he's really excited about the future. And so, our job is to make sure he returns mentally refreshed, but in better condition than he arrived.
Dave, you said players had to sort of earn their jersey. Is that the same for the captaincy?
Yeah, I think you've got to work through those things, and I'm keen to have a chat with players, and so I know obviously Scott Barrett, fantastic player and current captain, and so I'll be keen to have a chat to him about going forward.
Dave, have you spoken to any of the All Black leadership group?
No.
So captaincy was not at the forefront of your mind at this stage?
No.
Dave, can the All Blacks win the World Cup next year, and what will it take?
Well, the answer is yes, and it'll take a hell of a lot of work. It'll take a lot of alignment. Just ensure we're all working together. And I think when we look at a game model, we've got to make sure that players and staff, and by staff I mean coaches and S&C and medical, and we're all aligned, so we can get the athlete in the best possible position to execute and play well. So it's a sprint from here. By the time we start, we'll have about 15 months to a World Cup, and well aware that the way the draw works out, in typical fashion in a World Cup, likely to meet South Africa in the quarter-final. So we'll get a bit of practice against them this year.
You've no doubt watched the All Blacks play over the last 2 years. What's your assessment of where they're at, and have the All Blacks lost a little bit of ground at the point end of the international game?
I think what we don't understand in New Zealand is the quality of the game in the north, and I think we think that all the innovation in the game happens here, but there's some fantastic rugby being played in other countries, and so there's a bit of a player drain here. A lot of our best players will eventually leave and play overseas, and strengthen their rugby, and there's a lot of smart coaches across the globe. And so my time in Glasgow helped me realise how strong the footy is up there, and as you can see, like Six Nations is massive, the quality of the French and so on. So I just think it's a competitive landscape now, and we've got to make sure we're working hard to be brilliant at basics, and get real clarity on our game, and then how we can implement that.
Considering the amount of players of Pacifica heritage within the All Blacks now and in history, how important and significant is the people of Pacifica heritage are the first All Black coach to come from that region?
I suppose I hadn't thought about it, but I'm really proud of that fact. My mum, like I mentioned this morning, she's from a small village, Te Kawika in Rarotonga, and just a beautiful part of the world. And she was a really great athlete as a kid. She left for New Zealand to make a bit of money for the family, and met Dad, and still spent a lot of time in Rarotonga. I go back for 6 months when it was a little bit cold in New Zealand, but she was hardworking, inspirational, and as I mentioned, she had a massive impact on me and my brothers and sisters. So I know she'd be really proud. So I'm honoured to represent the Cook Islands.
Will that help with your connection with the players, the Pacifica players? Is that an important part of what you do?
I think having a connection with all the players is important, and we've got a fair bit of diversity within the group, and I think the ability to celebrate that is important. So I look forward to doing that.
Post 2027, is there an option for Dave to re-sign? Or what does that look like post 2027?
There's always an option to resign. No, isn't it? Not an automatic option to resign. No, it's a contract to the end of 2027.
Dave, continue post 27?
Geez, what is it, day one?
All about forward thinking, mate.
Yeah, you can't plan too far ahead in this game, as you know. So, look, I'm keen to get my feet under the desk and rip in. I've got to do a good job. That'll decide whether I'm here beyond that or not.
David, what were some of the key factors with Dave winning the job ahead of him?
Well, I think I've touched on them already. The global experience and arranging these, and Dave's touched on what that's taught him.
Ahead of Jamie, or
Generally speaking, I'm just really talking about the attributes that Dave's got that made it clear that he would be the best next head coach. And secondly, as I said before, his ability to talk about how he's been able to build cultures and teams and team performance, and his ability to analyse and explain the way the game, his view of the way the global game is moving and changing, and how we need to adapt and we need to use a whole range of attributes and qualities that we've got in the New Zealand game to take advantage of the opportunities.
Dave, you have a 75% win rate against the Springboks at the national level. Is there some secret sauce that you haven't revealed yet to beating them?
I'm not sure about my percentages against other teams, but the rivalry's massive, isn't it? I'm really excited about that tour. Some people might think it's daunting, but we're going to get 6 weeks in Africa with 40 odd players. It's a massive opportunity for us to really drive culture, really get a lot of detail around our game model, and come out of there 12 months away from a World Cup with genuine clarity and excitement. So, really looking forward to that.
Last couple of questions, guys.
Go on, James.
Thanks, mate. What did your family say, in particular? What was the message you got, and what was their reaction?
The wife was yawning because I woke her up. The boys are really proud. They knew I was coming home, and when we were talking about potentially applying, my plan was to go home, spend a bit of time in Palmy, cut a bit of firewood, and be unpaid assistant coach at Manawatu. And I'd get to spend a lot of time with the kids and grandkids and so on. But so they said, look, don't turn down an opportunity to apply just for us, because you're going to be back in New Zealand anyway, so I'll see a lot more of them. So their support's been massive, and it was nice to share that with them first.
Dave, what's your stance on overseas eligibility? Is that something you're pushing?
I'll comment on Brody Rattel. I get to see him train and play every week. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's fitter than he's ever been. He's top try scorer in Japan at the moment with 11.
Could you lure him back?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to yet, but there's no doubt. You want to win a World Cup, ideally you've got your best players available, and obviously Richie's coming back, which would be good. He's been in great form in Japan, and certainly you have someone like a Brody Rattel coming into the environment. I reckon it'll really grow the whole group. He's done a phenomenal job around leadership at Kobe, and I'm not sure how much you guys watch of that competition, but it's gone through the roof. There's a lot of experienced coaches up there. There's some of the best players in the world playing there, and the quality is really strong. So, his side's up there that'll beat Super Rugby teams in this competition. So, so he's been phenomenal, and if I had the chance to get him back, I'd certainly jump in it.
Dave, you mentioned that you pride yourself on surrounding yourself with good people. Given it's a short window, will you be looking at good, familiar people as well, as you have worked with them most?
I think that connection's important. You've got to have people you trust and people you know who can do the job. And in the end, I'm accountable for whether we succeed or not. And so, like I say, I've got a history of surrounding myself with quality people who can make a difference, and so I'm keen to do that.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.